Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dharma practitioners, once upon a time, there was a king, and he was old, and by the time after him, he gave his kingship to his son. So, this prince became the king, and then within few days, father passed away. So, he took over the kingdom and start to do his work. So then there was a very old teacher, advisor for his father. And with the respect, what he did, he gave the same position for this old person. And this teacher used to live in the forest. And by the time the king, this young king, start to think, oh, this old teacher, and he's giving advice for all of us and even my father, and but he just living in a small hut in this forest. That is not good. I have to bring him to close by the palace and give more facilities. So then what he decided, he went to the teacher and invited him to come to city. So the king, the teacher accepted his invitation and came. Then he built up a place and same like the palace and gave all the facilities same like him with the respect. And then at night while he's sleeping, he start to think, I am the king. I should have this all the facilities. So now my teacher also have the same kind of facilities. Then what is the different me and with him? So that is not good because I am the king. I should be better than him. I deserve something better than him. So then it was bothering to him. And then the very next day he went to meet the teacher and told, this is the question I have. So then what is the difference in that the you and me? So it was evening time and the teacher didn't give any answer. Okay, let's go for a walk. And they start to walk towards the forest that he used to live. And little by little, it became 1 hour. They keep walking. And this prince thought, oh, now he will turn back. He will turn back. And they came close to the forest. Then he thought, oh, now he will turn back. And with the respect, the king didn't want to disturb and ask, let's go back. Just they start to keep walk into the forest. Then it became a little bit dark. And the king start to think back. No, I have to go back. I have to go back. So then little by little, they went far away from the palace and into the forest. And then the king was so anxious and disappointed and worried. And then by the time, finally, the king asked, so when we going to go back? Because I have to go back. So the teacher asks, why you have to go back? Because I am the king. I have to take care of my kingdom. I don't want to be in the forest. So then the teacher told, that is the difference in between you and me. Even though I live with the same facilities like you, anytime I have ability to leave that. But look at you, then you own the kingdom and you own that facilities and it always you carry it in your mind. So it is the same with us also. And sometimes we practice generosity, and sometimes we practice letting go, and sometimes we think we are free, but deeper we secure everything inside our mind. It's like we creating kind of like a spider web. This everything, when it that all the material things in the same place, we become so comfortable. And you lock the doors, windows, and now no one can disturb, everything inside your house safe. That's why you can sleep. But remember, there is time come we have to let go this everything. You have to let go it, or it going to go away from you. There is no way that anything we can take with us. So this body the same, even this ideas the same, even what you learn the same. It not going to take with you as you think. Remember always that in life, what you deserve, it never going to come to you. And what you hope, it never going to happen to you. It is completely different. That maybe some people understand in the middle of their life, and some people when they get little older, they understand it. Some people they understand before they die, but there are some people they die even without understanding that. Why? Because they deeply hold it to something else, and then they cannot see it. But look yourself so far that the journey that you came, and that everything you have, you dropping that place. You just hold things in your mind believing that it is with you, but there is nothing that you can carry to forward. Only deeply that whatever we accumulate, good or bad karma, we going to come with us like the shadow. So then remember, nothing wrong with the material world, but at the same time, develop a skill to get the best out of the material things, and develop your profitable skills. That is the most important thing. That going to help for you to cultivate your mind and transform your life, uplift your consciousness and gain your liberation or the salvation. There's nothing else going to help you. So you have to be wise. So whatever the material things, use it. And you have many materials more than your parents, your grandparents, your grandparents, or your ancestors. You have so much facilities. But remember, it is your responsibility. At the same time, you have to have a better wisdom than them. So when we look at our human existence, that always that our previous generations had a better vision, better understanding, better tranquility state, better connection, better deeper serenity and understanding regarding the life and regarding the nature. But day by day, because of this material, or maybe because of our lack of understanding, we losing that wisdom. As a human being, always remember that finally this everything going to depend according to our view. So then sharp it. It is your personal responsibility. Develop your personal view. Be very clear with that and recognize what is life, and don't afraid to go into the bottom of it, and don't afraid to question it and understand it yourself. Because when you more deeply understand the life according to its own nature, it's according to its own natural formation, that you will understand how beautiful this is. And then you recognize you are kind of like a miracle. And then you understand how lucky you are. Without that understanding, without putting that validation to yourself, sometimes with this outside world, we can spend eons by eons, but maybe we will never come to experience what is true nature of life. So don't miss this opportunity. This is your time, and by the time this all going to go away, so you have very limited time. So within that very limited time, be disciplined yourself to find the truth. You can get it. It is available there. Only thing it is your choice. Why? Because always around us, there is a magic show going on. So then you have to have a wisdom to not to caught up with that magic show and see the true nature beyond that curtains or the beyond that layers. How you can do that? So as you know, when it comes to the world, there are three kind of doctrines regarding the life and regarding the nature, regarding the world. So the one is called doctrine of necessity, law of necessity. Another one called doctoring of by chance. Another one called doctoring of that creation, that intelligence design. So in doctoring of intelligence designs or creation means with someone with the very sharp and clear mind, somebody create this everything. That is the conversation called doctoring of intelligent design. Somebody, supernatural power, create this everything. Another one, doctoring of by chance, like Big Bang. This happened suddenly, and no one did it. It happened, and it happened suddenly and by chance. That by accident, this everything happened. And other thing is this doctoring of necessity, that related to law of nature, that related to law of cause and effect. So the Buddhism more close to doctrine of necessity. When something happened, it happened according to necessary conditions in that moment, not because of somebody or supernatural power interfere and create something, or not something happened by chance. It happened according to in that moment, according to in that necessary conditions. So what are the conditions? So when it comes to that, there are, as we know, there are four elements fundamentally, basically, that the physical phenomena that we call pure eightfold unit. That there are 8 units, and in the beginning that there are pure 4 units called heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness, or solid, fluid, heat, motion. That's pure 4 units that create this all the material world or physical phenomena. And out of that four, that is the base, that is the foundation: heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness. Out of that foundation, another four things come. That four things create the magic. It's like you go to a theater, then the lighting, this lighting create the visuals. It gives the effect. So in Vipassana level, you when you have very clear mind what you can, what happening to you, there is an ability. You can separate this magic from the moment. You can separate the effect out of the incident. That is where you touch the pure nature. So if you caught up in that effect, or if you caught up that the illusion or the magic, you cannot see the truth. So the base, heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness, the pure physical phenomena, and it's called another way material units. So out of this four, there are another four things happen. That is color, smell, taste, and vitality. So Those are the things help us to recognize things. Those are the things brings this everything to us as experience. So as example, look at this, that maybe you tired every day seeing this, so let's, so this pen, this come to you while when you see this, you can see the hardness, heaviness, but it come to you through colors. So without color, it you cannot recognize this. So this all the material world, look, it come as colors, but this color appear as a result of four elements. But the four elements not going to be with you. It's not going to come to you. It come as a color. Another thing, smell. So without a smell, sometimes you cannot recognize things. Another thing is the taste. So without taste, the whatever come to you, you cannot recognize it. Another thing is the oja, or the strength, or the vitality, that the is kind of like a life force. It's not the life force, but it giving the strength to whatever this all the four elements. So when it comes to colors, there is a physical color exist outside world. There is a physical color. That's why that when you see this as blue, and everyone can see this if they have a healthy physical eye. So that means there is something exist outside. That's why everyone can see the same way. But the thing is this, when the color come to you, even though it exists in the outside world separately, when it come to you, there is some help need from your mental condition. Without that mental condition, this color is nothing. So it become a part of your experience when the mind has some connection with this. So if the mind, according to the behavior of the mind, so even though colors exist around us, according to the behavior of the mind, that can change. So when you practice vipassana, what you do, you come to a point not to hold any viewpoint related to greed, hatred, or the delusion, or any kind of desire. So when you come to that neutral point inside your mind, whatever happen, that whatever the color that you see, it's going to become pure perception to you. That is why you have ability to recognize it very clearly. So that clear perception is once you have that, you have ability to recognize whatever happening around you. But as example, just imagine, if you have the greed or the strong desire, and maybe that it come through the colors, but you don't recognize the color. You don't see it. And you attack it, the color itself become kind of like the strengthening your desire. But it kind of like because that your mind depend on the color and the smell and the taste and the vitality. So what is happening when you have the desire, it kind of like you pulling, it's kind of like you putting wood to the fire. So Again and again, when you see the colors with the desire, what happening? You don't see the color. So if you that's why when you practice vipassana, there is an ability come, you start to see separately hardness and the color. It's like this, that the flower and the color you start to see separately. That separation create the window to see the reality. So this everything, look at that, everything come to you as colors. You are attached to the color. So day by day, this visual world with this all the gadgetics, consumer products, see how it come colorfully. In the beginning, the TV came only black and white. But today, look how many colors. If you try to, set up your TV, the most of people cannot do it manually now. They just put automatically. Why? Because billion colors, and that the effect that you gain, you you lost in that colors, and you cannot see the information, and you develop the desire looking at it again and again and again. So whole world, it's kind of like that we create through the colors, and when we attach to the colors, we cannot see beyond it. So when you have a happy moment, when you have a sad moment, remember in that very moment, the colors you see, it behavior change. But it is not keeping your mind happy or sad. If you come to very neutral moment, we call equanimity, not go with or not resisting any desire, and just becoming neutral. In that very moment, that is where you're going to recognize the true color. So when it comes to people, when it comes to whatever that you like or dislike, remember, when you look something with the likeness, that you see that color as a very beautiful, strong. But if you have unhappiness, sadness, worry, the same color, it's nothing changed. You see the same color, but if there is an unhappiness, and with that unhappiness, when you look at this color, it see different way. So that's mean according to the behavior of your mind. So then always remember, if you want to experience something real, natural, don't have any desire or don't have any resistance. That's why in commonly it say, don't judge, just keep the neutral moment in you and learn to look, and that is where you can see. So the other one is the smell. The smell deeply connected to your nerve system and the brain, and it hold you. It's kind of like that the crocodile to this world. No, and they never leave once they hold. It's like a tiger hold you. The smell, and it is invisibly, it hold everything to you. So, and it has a deeper connection with your brain. Smell have a power. It has a power to remind your past. So there's secret. Remember that when you feel something that good, happy, when you like it, you going to attach to that smell. And when you become unhappy, when you dislike something, the very first thing come to you in your mind, the very first thing detach from your mind, not the physical thing. So as example, if I don't like this, the very first thing happening, I don't like the smell come out of this. So as example, I make it very easy. look at, sometimes people divorce husband wife. If you like, with if you're dating or if you are young age, you loving each other, very first thing you what happened, you like the person smell. That's the very first thing. It so strongly bound you. And in case, remember, because of something, when you decide to separate from that person, the very first thing happen in your brain, in your system, you start to reject the smell from that person. So it is in everywhere that if your mind in good condition, you're going to be okay with whatever the smell. But when the mind start to get disturbed, the very first thing you attack to the smell. So it has a very deeper behavior with us. And the second one is the taste. It nourishes your body. And all the food and then whatever you eat, it is not it the very first thing, the taste effect for you. And sometimes there are food, it doesn't have any nutrition inside that, but it has a good taste. So that taste has power to open entire the nerve system, and it has power to nourish just the taste, not what is inside that. So in day-to-day life, we more attached to the taste, and that is one thing we bound to this world deeply. And the day by day, it's that even that reminding that taste, and sometimes we hold it to this world. And the taste has power to take you beyond the life and sansaric journey. And as you know, sometimes, as monks, we when somebody die, and sometimes people bring us the dana or the food and telling, oh, that person like to eat this. So like that, people attach to that taste. And sometimes people believe that offering that the same taste, that person gains, that they become happy or gain something merit, or you can transfer the merits to like that way. And another thing is that whatever, there are a lot of different cultures, they does that. When the person die, and after that the person die, whatever that person used to eat, that they put it outside. That the believing that if that person go to the lower existence, there are some living beings depend only from the smell or the taste, and they can depend on that. It's kind of like a feeding to unseen this living beings. So like that, the taste ourselves, this each and every cell that the respond to the taste. So you have to see it. When you practice meditation little by little by little, you can see. And that's why, especially when it comes to vipassana, when you eat food or when you drink something, there is a moment come, you can separate the food and the taste. And you can eat any food without any taste. And there are some, when there are some monks, and when they practice meditation, especially when you practice yoga for a while, and what happening, this taste buds start to become neutral, the craving, the desire to eat, and slow down, and then you can eat very plain food, no color, no taste, like that. You just can eat it, but still you can get the nourishment. So it's a different way, but the taste is something that you have to remember, that we like to give things, give up things, and and we try to stay away from things, but deeply sometimes we attach to taste. So you have to see it. So those are very invisible, that thinks that this entire world hold by these four things. Even though four elements behind, four elements cannot come to you, the all the four elements send you as a messenger, the as a the they are the soldiers, colors, smell, taste, and nourishment. The fourth one, it called oja. The varna, gandha, rasa, oja. The oja means it's the out of that, the nourishment, the pure essence of the whatever the the food or the whatever you see, whatever you hear, smell. So there is some energy in everywhere. So when you see it again and again and again, your entire system get nourished. It's like that's why it called to your eyes, the pictures become food. So if you see something always like to your ears, the sound, and if you hear something that nice always, it make you happy. So like that, this nourishment can come out of many ways, but you have to remember that if you have the like, dislike, desire, or the resistance, out of that, whatever the nourishment can change. So that's why when you have a happy moment, whatever you see, whatever you hear, it's going to be okay. Whatever the people around you, it's going to be okay. But how about when you have an unhappy moment? So maybe the beautiful things around you, then you don't want to see it. Maybe other people say good things, but maybe you don't like to hear. And maybe you have very good comfort, but you don't feel to have it. So like that, according to the behavior of your mind, this all the four elements can change. So then remember, when you practice, why this is important for you. If you don't recognize this separately, you cannot get beyond the illusion. You caught up in the illusion. You caught up in this magic show. So then what you have to do? In day-to-day life, not all the time, in day-to-day time. And just remember, if you see a flower, see the flower and try to separate the color from it. Look at, any flower that behind me, there are flowers. So now you can see this colors like this way. As you know, within a few days, it's going to be a different color, same flower, and the shape going to be a little bit different. But it's the same flower, the color become different. So you have ability, rather than caught up in this color, you can see the flower and you can see the how the color separately from it. Another thing is, if you take a flower and maybe it has a very nice smell, but try to separate the smell from the flower, you can do it. And when you eat, and just remember the taste, you can separate the taste and bring. When you have that moment, remember, in that separation, you get out of the illusion. Maybe it is a 1 millisecond of experience, like you chewing something and then you recognize, oh, this is rice, or this is bread, or this is bean, or something like that. And at the same time, if you become very conscious, you can separate the color and whatever you eat. In that way, in that millisecond, what happening? You get out of the magic show. So like that, if you keep practice little by little, little by little, and when you see something, even a person, see the person and separate the colors. Then you're going to see something, because this, as we know, that we appear like this, and by the time this our color change. And so people sometimes attach only to the colors, and then what happening? And once the color disappear, they become miserable with that. And sometimes people attach to the smell. So if the smell change, what will happen? The people become miserable. And then sometimes people attach to the taste. So how about if the taste change and people become miserable? So there is a two-way, that out of the four elements from outside world, that whatever you experience, this all the four pure, the units can change. And at the same time, remember, according to your condition of the mind also, these four units can change. But mostly we don't think like that way. We always think something from outside. As example, you go to a place maybe once a week to have a breakfast, and maybe one day you go there and suddenly you feel the taste is not good, and maybe you to call to the waiter and tell, hey, this is not good, something wrong with this. And maybe it is the same chef and it is the same menu, everything. But you don't think, maybe last night you had the bit difficult hard time to sleep, or maybe something you struggle in your personal life, and you came to have breakfast, or maybe you have argument, or maybe there is a bill you have to pay, or maybe there is something you have to done, and you didn't finish it. So like that, the condition of your mind change, and now you came to the same place and you try to experience, it is not the same taste. Then what happening? You start to complain to other people. And even it can happen in your very at home. Maybe you try to eat something, you don't feel good. And then maybe you blame to your wife or whoever cooked that. But it's nothing wrong with that. So then you have to look yourself. And other thing is, there is a certain level come yourself consciously and release the desire, and don't have any resistance, and have it, then anywhere you can have anything without any kind of difficulty. You can sleep anywhere, and you can eat anything, and you can live with anybody, and you can have any smell. And so it's deeply consciously you practice not to have a resistance or not to have a desire. So that once you come to that level, you can have a very tranquility state of your mind. So remember, those are the pure four units that create that all this physical phenomena brings towards us. Those are the carriers. That is the way it come to us. Delivery, this all the heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness through the colors, the smell, taste, and nutrition, or the vitality. And once it come together, that is how you take the whatever the desire to the, once these things come together, heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness, color, smell, taste, and nutrition, these things come together. There is something come as a ninth element. It called Jivitendriya, the life force. And once the life force come, what happening? The mind start to settle down as the heart. So the heart start to settle down. That's why in the mother's womb, so you carry this all the eight elements, and out of the eight elements, once the eight elements complete, then the ninth one come. So the completion of this, remember this very carefully, completion of this eight elements invite the ninth one, Jivitendra, life force. Once the life force come, the very first thing happening, the heart start to settle down there. So that's why in the mother's womb, the heart going to start as the first organ. So once the heart start there, the very next thing happen, it decide the gender, that you're going to be a male or female. that all the system before it start that decide. So it in deeply there is a karmic connection with this. So according to that, that it decide you're going to be a male or female. So once it come to that, your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and this entire the system start to format inside your mother's womb. So out of this all, your ear is the first organ to give the connection with your heart. And then it start. That's why the very within the 3 months, once the baby start to develop in the mother's womb, that baby can hear anything, and it start to connect with the 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 heart. So from there, little by little, this everything start to develop, and the heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness, the color, smell, taste, and nutrition. Those 8 elements has power to reproduce and invite. That invitation and the connection in between this, the unity, the bound, this the connection that we call itself the samsara. So in the name of living, what you does, you always feeding the color, smell, taste, and nutrition. So inside that invisibly, heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness there. So when the day come for you, very consciously, you recognize this and you drop the interest or the desire, the with the colors, the smell, the taste, or the vitality or the nutrition, and just the have the moment and accept things as it is without any desire or any resistance anymore. This cannot jump forward or create, because it's going to listen to itself and settle down. So that desire is called itself Chandaraga. Deeply, like the under the river, like the current take the water, the Chandaraga, or the desire to fulfill that your inner satisfaction is create your future. So when it comes to meditation, what we does, we slowly neutralize it rather than feeding to it or resisting it, just allowing everything to settle down. So in day-to-day life, just remember, have a moment without feeding to your life with your colors, smell, taste, or the nutrition. Just allow things to settle down. Give a break. It's very necessary. You came through eons by. Very long journey, non-stop journey. Maybe we didn't have that knowledge to just give a rest. Sometimes we say, give me a break. Remember, entire your head to toes, this whole existence, you need a break. So give a break. When the day you able to give a break to yourself, that is the day you find your liberation, your salvation, and the ultimate bliss of Nibbana. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy, and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no difficulties come to you, may no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabrogo vinasatu mate bhavatantarayo sukhi diga yuko bhava. Ittavata cha ammehi sampadam punya sampadam. Sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.